In the North Atlantic they're hurricane, in Asia typhoon, but here in the South Pacific we call them tropical cyclones. In February and March 2005, the Cook Islands was hit by 5 of them in the space of 5 weeks. Cyclone Mina was due to hit the Cook's main island, Rarotonga, on Sunday the 6th of February, so Saturday was spent preparing. Mina was expected to arrive at 8 a.m, but she speeded up and swerved to pass about 90 kilometers to the northeast at about 6 a.m. The northern coast suffered with heavy rain and huge waves pounding the shoreline. Rubble was strewn over the main road, while Trader Jack's and other buildings on Avarua Wharf were almost demolished. Once the cyclone had passed by, Ministry of Works teams were out clearing roads and falling power and phone lines. Mina may have missed, but the main harbour still took a beating from storm surge, with boulders, smashed concrete slabs, ripped corrugated walls and undermined pilings. Fortunately, ships weathered the cyclone at sea, and all small boats had been taken out of the water before Mina arrived. The next day was beautiful, but it didn't last. Just over a week later, 2 more cyclones formed in the north, Nancy and Olaf.
Cyclone Nancy has caused significant damage to several islands in the southern Cook Islands, and a number of people have been moved to evacuation shelters. Very destructive winds, gusting at up to 250 kilometers an hour, are still expected.
Matavira village church lost its roof. An eyewitness said the whole roof was lifted by the wind and blown out to sea. School classrooms were also damaged. As Nancy passed to the east, residents thought they had seen the worst of it. But the cyclone curled around to the southwest of Rarotonga at about 2 p.m, causing wind and seawater damage on the west and south sides of the island. Ministry of Works teams were once again clearing fallen trees from the roads, not realizing the cyclone was probably at her closest approach about now. Nancy struck on Wednesday afternoon. Cyclone Olaf was at its closest on Thursday night and in the early hours of Friday morning. On Thursday evening, seas were high on the north and western sides of the island, and the next morning the waves were still huge. Overnight, Olaf had passed to the west of Rarotonga, causing significant damage to some resorts. Strong winds also demolished several houses. The beach at Nikau on the west of the island changed dramatically overnight. Concrete slabs were smashed and hurled around. A large bight was taken out of the seawall road around the airport. Just over a week later, Cyclone Percy formed near Samoa. It hit the northern island of Puka Puka at midday on Sunday the 27th of February, with wind gusts estimated at 230 kilometers per hour as the eye passed about 40 kilometers south of the island. A Royal New Zealand Air Force Orion survey plane reported widespread damage to buildings. Traditional style homes on the coast were washed away, and taro patches were under at least 2 meters of seawater. The airstrip was also damaged, but while the northern group suffered, Rarotonga was luckier. Percy now headed in a more southerly direction, but it was weakening. There were strong winds and big waves as the cyclone passed to the west overnight on Wednesday, March the 2nd and Thursday morning. There was very little new damage. Meanwhile, another depression in the north was given the name Cyclone Rai, although with winds just reaching 35 knots and pressure dropping a shade below 1,000 hectopascals, it barely qualified. 5 cyclones in 5 weeks could be some kind of record, but it's one nobody in the Cook Islands wants to break.